Something is quietly stealing your memory, not all at once, not in some dramatic collapse, but in tiny, invisible moments. A scroll here, a click there. You forget what you were saying. You walk into a room and forget why. You feel foggy, distant, like a ghost inside your own life. And you start to wonder, is it just stress? Burnout? Or is something else happening? Something deeper? Because this isn't a glitch in you, it's a glitch in the system. And if you're not paying attention, it won't just steal your memory, it'll rewrite your identity. So if you've felt off lately, unfocused, not quite yourself, you're not alone. And you're not crazy. You're waking up. This isn't a crisis you'll see on the news. There's no headline, no breaking alert, no sirens, just a slow fade into numbness. One day you realize you haven't felt truly present in a while. Conversations blur, days disappear, you're reacting, scrolling, half listening, half feeling, like life is happening just beyond a screen. This is the invisible crisis of our time. Not a war of bombs, but of bandwidth. Not a theft of things, but of attention. Your thoughts are being fragmented, split into 1,000 pieces by tiny glowing rectangles. Your identity? It's being slowly overridden. Not by force, but by design. Algorithms don't just show you content. They predict your needs, your triggers, your loneliness. And then they whisper in your ear. Feel this. Click that. Become this. Most people still think they're making choices. What to feel, what to care about, what to believe. But what if the options you're choosing from were already selected for you? What if the system doesn't care who you are? It only cares what you'll react to. This isn't entertainment. This is engineering. And the more it knows you, the more it doesn't wait to see who you are. It decides who you're allowed to become. And so, without even realizing it, your instincts start to dull. Your beliefs soften. Your desires become quieter. You start to wonder if you ever really cared about anything at all. And then the worst part happens. You stop noticing that you stop noticing. This is more than distraction. It's erosion of attention, of memory, of self. You don't wake up one day and say, I've lost myself. It happens piece by piece, compromise by compromise, until your reflection feels like a stranger, and your memories like dreams from someone else's life. But you're not broken. You're not gone. You're just caught in the fog, and the fog has a name, the glitch. And now that you see it, we can begin to find the way back. You thought you were just scrolling, just catching up, just unwinding. But something was watching. Every pause, every like, every second you hesitated on a post, recorded, measured, fed into a machine. The system doesn't observe you to understand you. It observes you to control you. It learns what makes you angry, what makes you insecure. It knows when you're tired and when you're craving validation. And once it knows that, it doesn't just offer you content. It designs you. Bit by bit, it builds the walls of your mental world. It limits what you see, what you think, what even feels possible. That's the terrifying part. You don't just become what you consume, you become what you're allowed to consume. You're being shaped by invisible hands, by lines of code you'll never read, by systems you never truly consented to. This isn't just about tech. It's not just the algorithm. It's your sense of self. You think you still know who you are, but when your inputs are engineered, so are your outputs. And it doesn't happen all at once. At first you feel distracted, then overstimulated. You swing from anxiety to apathy. You stop chasing meaning and start chasing novelty. Click, swipe, numb, repeat. Your nervous system, fried. Your inner compass, gone quiet. This isn't burnout, this is programmed disintegration. Your beliefs become blurry. Your instincts grow quiet. The fire that once drove you, dimmed into silence. And the worst part? It's not being forced on you. You clicked it, you chose it, you let it in, Because when something hijacks your biology, your reward circuits, your attention, your memory, you mistake the cage for comfort. But now you're here, and you're seeing the gears behind the curtain. This isn't paranoia, it's architecture. And once you know how it works, you can begin to unbuild the next step. We need to look at what it's doing to your mind, what it's doing to your memory, and what happens when the self begins to slip away. So what does it actually feel like when the glitch starts taking hold? It's not dramatic. It's not loud, it's quiet, creeping. A fog rolls in, soft enough to ignore, strong enough to disorient. You forget what you were just saying. You stare at a screen for 15 minutes and don't remember what you saw. Whole days pass in a blur, like they happened to someone else. You're constantly reacting, but rarely choosing. You feel like you're doing 1,000 things, yet accomplishing nothing. That's not just fatigue. That's cognitive fragmentation. Your attention, memory, and sense of self breaking into pieces. Your emotions start to swing. One minute you're anxious, the next, completely numb. You scroll endlessly, not because you enjoy it, but because stopping feels worse. Being alone in silence, unbearable. No music, no notifications, no content to drown in. And suddenly, you feel like you're unraveling. That's the nervous system screaming. Overstimulated, burned out, hijacked. And the damage goes deeper than stress. Neuroscience shows us, without sustained focus and silence, your brain can't encode long-term memory. So even when you live through something real, your mind never saves it. Your life becomes a series of dissolving snapshots. You forget moments, and then you forget meanings, and then you forget yourself. Not because you've changed, but because the memory of who you were has been lost in the fog. Maybe you used to be passionate, driven, curious. Now those traits feel like someone you once knew, but can't quite access anymore. You can't remember what made you come alive. You start to wonder if any of it mattered. And when meaning disappears, apathy moves in. This is the moment the self becomes vulnerable. Not destroyed, just faded. Hidden under layers of noise, stimulation, and artificial emotion. You weren't erased. You were interrupted. And if any of this feels familiar, that's not your weakness speaking. That's your memory fighting to come back online. And that means there's still a way back. If you've made it this far, you already feel it. The glitch isn't just around you. It's inside you. It's been quietly undoing you, rewriting you. But you're not lost. And you are not beyond return. You don't need a new life, a new persona, or a new system to save you. You need one thing: to remember. And remembrance isn't passive, it's an act of spiritual warfare. It's the soul climbing back into the driver's seat, and it begins with 6 steps. Not instructions. These are invitations. Invitations to come home to yourself. Step 1. See the fog. The first battle is awareness. Before you change anything, you must see what has shaped you. Every time you reach for your phone, not because you want to, but because it's reflex. Every scroll, every autopilot swipe, every empty dopamine hit. Don't judge it, just notice it. This is the trance, and when you can name the trance, you weaken it. The fog only has power when you mistake it for air. Once you see it for what it is, distraction, noise, sedation, you begin to wake up. Step 2. Drop the mask. Our culture doesn't ask you to be real, it asks you to perform, to curate, to hide, to polish every corner of your soul into something presentable. But authenticity cannot survive in performance. So strip it off. The smile that isn't real, the opinions you don't believe in, the identity you crafted just to be accepted. Drop it. Right now, say 3 true things. Not on Instagram, not in a comment. Say them to yourself. Say the things you've never said because you were afraid they'd make people leave. Truth is radioactive. It burns the lies away. And under the ashes, you'll find something sacred. Step 3. Return to the body. The glitch happens in the mind, but healing begins in the body. Your body remembers what your mind forgot. It holds your truth in muscles, breath, stillness. Sit in silence. Feel the shape of your spine. Listen to your heartbeat without numbing it with sound. Stretch, move, walk without distraction. You are not a brain on a stick. You are a living organism. And when you return to your body, you return to presence. And presence is power. Step 4. Recover what you buried. Somewhere along the way, you sacrificed parts of yourself. Not because you were weak, but because you were trying to survive. A dream you abandoned because it didn't pay. A part of your soul you exiled because it didn't fit the mold. A wildness, a softness, a fire, a strange obsession. It didn't die, you buried it. Go back and unbury it. Revisit that version of you that felt fully alive, even if they were messy. Ask yourself, what did I love before I learned to be afraid of loving it? The glitch cannot overwrite what you remember deliberately. And when you recover what was buried, you restore your original language. Step 5. Make the ordinary sacred. This world wants you bored, wants you thinking the sacred is something distant, rare, exclusive. But that's a lie. The sacred is hiding in plain sight, the way sunlight hits a dusty window, the warmth in a hand-wash mug, the rhythm of your breath when no one is asking anything of you. Choose one ordinary thing each day and give it full attention. Treat it as if it matters, not because someone told you it should, but because you decided it does. This is not sentiment, this is neuroplasticity. What you give meaning to, your brain rewires around. The sacred isn't a religion, it's a choice. And the more you practice sacredness in the small things, the more your soul begins to expand again. Step 6. Leave a trail. We are memory-based creatures, and when the world fragments your memory, you have to build a map back to yourself. So leave clues. Write one sentence. Every day, tape it to your screen, scribble it on your mirror, whisper it into a voice note. Something like, I was here and I remembered. That may sound small, but in a world trained to forget, remembering is rebellion. These sentences become anchors, markers, echoes of the self that refuse to disappear. And when your future self wakes up in another moment of fog, that trail will be waiting. A message from now. You were never fully gone, you just forgot. And now you remember. These steps are not quick fixes. They're not checkboxes for your ego. They are sacred invitations to come back to who you were before the world told you who to be. Because if you can learn to see clearly again, if you can hold your attention, your truth, your body, your breath, you will remember. And when you remember, you become untouchable. Because they can manipulate your feed, they can trigger your emotions, they can numb your senses. But they cannot touch the parts of you that you refuse to forget. So take a breath, not just a physical one, a soul breath, and begin. The way back is not forward. The way back is inward. Now I need to leave you with something. It's not a solution, it's not even advice. It's a warning, and maybe a memory. Because here's what they don't want you to figure out. If they can fracture your memory, they can fracture your identity. And if they fracture your identity, they don't need to control you anymore. You'll do it to yourself. You'll scroll without thinking. You'll silence your instincts. You'll accept a version of life that doesn't feel like yours, because you won't even remember what yours was. And that's not science fiction. It's not paranoia. It's the blueprint. Once you stop remembering, you'll buy any story they give you. You'll think it was always this way. You'll think your silence was your idea. You'll think the numbness is life. But here's the truth that cannot be deleted. Behind that fog, beneath the noise. Inside the quiet, you are still in there. You were never fully erased, only hidden. And if some part of you, even now, is stirring, if your gut tightened, if your eyes burned a little, if a voice inside whispered, "I miss me," that wasn't me waking you up, that was you. I'm not a savior, I'm just a sign, a flashlight in the fog. And now I'm asking you not to believe, not to panic, but just to ask, what parts of you have gone quiet? What dreams did you once hold that shrank down to shadows? What instincts did you abandon just to survive the noise? What moments, what memories slipped through your fingers before you even realized they were important? And most importantly, did you let them go? Or did something take them? This is not about blame. This is about beginning. So ask the questions, sit in the silence, stare at your own reflection, and when the voice inside you, the old, real you, starts to whisper again, don't go back to sleep. Remember, and whatever you do, don't go back to sleep. So if you made it this far, something inside you is still awake. Maybe not fully. Maybe it's been quiet for a long time, but it's there. A pulse beneath the numbness, a voice behind the noise. This whole time, you thought you were just exhausted, just unmotivated, just broken. But now you see it. The problem isn't that you stopped caring, it's that the world tried to erase the part of you that cared in the first place. And yet here you are, still searching, still listening, still holding on to a thread of something real. You may not know exactly who you are right now, but I promise you, if you start walking back toward the questions, if you reclaim your attention, if you stop running from silence, the memory will return. You'll remember the real you, the one that existed before the noise, before the mask, before the algorithm started writing your story. And when that happens, it won't feel dramatic. It'll feel familiar, like a voice you haven't heard in years whispering, "There you are." So let this be the beginning, not of another cycle of distraction, but of a return to yourself. If this video stirred something inside you, if you felt seen, remembered, or even cracked open just a little, then this space is for you. This is Inner Alchemy, a place for those who want to wake up, not just spiritually, but psychologically, emotionally, existentially. So, if you're ready to keep remembering, if you're ready to turn the fog into fire, like, subscribe, share this with someone else who's been sleepwalking through life. The world doesn't need more empty noise, it needs more conscious minds, more awakened souls. You're not here by accident. You're here because somewhere inside, you remembered. And whatever you do next, just don't go back to sleep.